Okay, artists, today we are going to talk about how to start a bean art mosaic. We are doing this as a fundraiser for La Señorita's Frijoles Fiesta, and it's going to be a really cool thing where we can hang our bean art mosaics up in the restaurant during the fundraiser. So the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get a piece of cardboard, and I recommend that you plan out your design in your sketchbook first, because I'm only going to give you one piece of cardboard. Make sure that your name is on the back of the cardboard before you start, because this would be really hard to do once we start gluing our beans on. Once you come up with your pattern, I also want you to color block your ideas for what you're going to do. So I'm going to put out the different kinds of beans so you can see the colors that are available to you. The color choices that you have for this project, we have white beans, we have some small brown lentils, we've got black beans. There are also some beans that are brown with some darker brown spots in them. We have red kidney beans, and we also have some black-eyed peas that are white beans with little black spots in them, and we have green lentils. So those are your color choice options. And when you plan out your design, I want you to plan out your colors. So for my design, I'm going to be using the red beans for the lines and the circle in the center. I'm going to be using the green lentils, and then I'm going to be using just the white beans in two areas, and I'm going to use the black-eyed peas in two of the areas. So I'm going to be using 4 different beans for my project. The first tip that I have for you is you don't want to do too much glue at a time, because you want your glue to be wet when you're placing the beans down, and you don't want to just dump beans onto your cardboard. You really want to think about where you're placing them, place them carefully, and you only want 1 layer of beans. And what I mean by that is we don't want to just dump beans on the wet glue. We also don't want to put a bunch of glue on and then dump that glue into the beans, because then that would make these beans all gluey. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this. And you want to start by just going in a small area. Now I think I'm going to start here where I've got my brown line, and this line is going to help me know where I'm going to put my beans. So it's not too much glue. And one at a time. So I can put a few beans on my placemat next to me, but one at a time I'm going to place the bean onto my cardboard. I'm not dumping the beans down. I'm really taking my time and planning out where I'm going to be putting those beans. So I'm going to take a minute and finish that line. Now I can move on to my next section, and this is where I've planned to put some white beans. I'm going to try really hard not to leave any gaps of cardboard, but I'm just going to put one line right next to the red ones where I started, and if they move around a bit, it should still be wet enough that I can rearrange. So I've decided I was going to put the white beans here, so I can grab a few of the white beans onto my placemat, and I'm going to try to just place them right next to my red beans. Now I'm not dumping these on, I'm really taking care and placing them. That way I know that each of my beans has enough glue and that it's going to stick when I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and do that white section. Now that I have finished the white section, I can once again go back and add my line of the red kidney beans. So you're just going to keep going until you have filled up your entire mosaic. And you want to just do a little bit of glue at a time and lay your beans down one at a time. Remember, we're not dumping beans on, and we are not putting more than 1 layer of beans on top of each other. The lentils are really small, and so sometimes it's hard to put them down one at a time. So you can kind of sprinkle a few lentils at a time and rearrange them into your area. Because they're so small, it's hard to just do one at a time, but still you want to try to only have 1 layer. So I'm flattening that layer to make sure I only have 1 layer, but it's just a little bit easier sometimes to do just a small little fingerful and then throw that onto your glue. When you're finished, if you've taken your time, you've used just a little bit of glue at a time and put down one bean at a time without doing more than one layer, you should have a finished mosaic. You want to make sure that it stays really flat until all of the glue dries.